Hey, it's me again. It's been almost a month, and I'm glad everybody liked my last video of the poem that somebody else wrote, and it was beautifully written and all that fun stuff. I didn't realize I'd get a lot of views on that. So um, I thought I'd do another one. I wanted to get this one out of the way just because I've been thinking about it a lot, trying to word it the right way. I don't want to have it where, you know, I want things to make sense. I want things to be clear. I don't have any intention of any wrongdoing. This is about mental health, by the way. This is just my experience and my own issues. We all deal with mental health differently. So, but these are my own personal experiences. So I'm hoping maybe somebody could relate to it and maybe have some ideas, or but I just hope this makes sense and maybe helps somebody. So I had to redo this video over because I was doing so good, but then I lost something. It's like, fuck. Anyway, I'm going to try this again, and hopefully it goes through and you guys can understand me. And I'll try not to move papers around because somehow they're louder than my voice. Right now I feel like I'm shouting. So again, soft spoken, I dig it, but anyway, it's about mental health. My own experience. Anyway, I've been a very open-minded person, always asking questions. I'm questioning everything because I believe there's more than one answer to a question. Sometimes there's no answers to a question. Like society standards, I get how things work, but constantly asking, like, I get how things work, but I'm constantly asking, but why? I'm like a little kid. Why? Why? I'm genuinely interested. I'm genuinely curious of how things work. That's just how I am. Or you don't get in other people's opinions of why they think, no offense to anybody about this, but why you think the earth is flat. I'm genuinely curious. I want to know. So I might read something, or somebody might tell me of why they think it is, give me their opinion about it, and I find it interesting. I find it fascinating. Do I think the earth is flat? No, of course not. But if they think the earth is flat, then they think the earth is flat. So, but I'm curious as in why. So that's what I mean. So, and one thing about being very open-minded, I always wanted to know why people act or think the way they do. I wanted to know, especially like the way they deal with emotions. It's always been an interest, just curious, always a curious person. So, I guess I had to start with, like when I was a kid, yes, I have notes because if not, I'll forget and won't want to do this. So, sorry, not sorry. This is crazy. Blech. Anyway, growing up, I've been to at least 6 elementary schools. At least 3 of them I went more than once. Yeah, it was a lot. We moved a lot. Always thought I had a learning disability, but every time we learn something in one school, we go to another school and they're already done. They're way past it. And it's like, I didn't know a lot of stuff until I went to college. I'm like, oh. Anyways, we moved a lot. And then middle school, I went to 2, 1 twice. And I got bullied for being one of the poor kids, which I understood, the poor kids, everybody, I don't know why, it's messed up, but anyway. But one thing I didn't like when I got bullied is when I was in high school. I was at 2 of them. But it wasn't just the school. It was a very small town, a very racist small town, okay? I didn't just get bullied at school. It was the damn town. And I wasn't there that long, but there was people coming up to me saying, oh, I know you, you did such and such. And I'm thinking, wait, what? I didn't understand what they were, I didn't understand. It was in this town. So people would, it was fucked up. Anyway, and also not just school, the town I lived in, but the place I thought I called home. Now, I'm not dissing on my family. This is just my point of view of how I personally felt growing up. I'm older now. I'm sure they did what they could, and I'm sure they saw things differently back in the day. But this is how I personally felt growing up, okay? And it sucked. I had a lot of questions. Sorry. Name calling, rumors. I started believing what other people were saying. And you start asking yourself, am I that bad of a person? You start questioning your own existence, because when we moved around, it wasn't just from parent to parent. Mom would drop us off at random people, and I didn't understand. It's like, have I always been this bad person? I didn't want to. I didn't want to commit suicide per se, but it just seemed like at that time the right thing to do, just at that time. Okay? It just seemed like it because of all these things that were going on. It was just an awful place at that time. Anyway, and there's the self-cutting. I wanted to feel something else, but it wasn't just I wanted to. I needed to feel something else. I thought there's got to be more to life than just this. There's got to be more than life to what is. I did run away a few times. I wanted to go out and see the world because I knew there's just something more beyond the limits. It just can't be this. I know it sounds like the basket case from The Breakfast Club where she's like, oh, I can go travel here and travel there. Well, yeah, I was the basket case, I guess. Then my parents made me go to Job Corps. Yay, I'm moving again. In fact, I wrote a poem about that real quick that I'd like to share, and this was at the time. So don't worry, good things are coming up. Okay. There's no title to it. I tend not to do titles to my drawings or my writings because people have different perspectives. So even me with emotions, I can read it one day and be sad, and the next day I can be angry, or I enjoy it. So there's no specific. Anyway, I try all the time. Am I trying hard enough? I'm getting nowhere. Is there any hope in me left? Hoping that the new year brings me something different. Does it get any better? Thinking of what I'm going to do. Am I going to have to move again? Wanting a place to call home. Will I ever find that home? I'm feeling so alone. Will I always feel like this? I'm wanting to let go. When will that day come? Not wanting to let go. How can I make it easier? I need a friend. Whatever happened to my best friend? I'm not wanting to do this on my own. Is it always going to be like this? When will it be my turn? So, it's a long time ago. Anyway. Anyways, I go to Job Corps. And here I said I want to go out and see the world. Job Corps, when I went there, it's hugely diverse, right? I felt like the world came to me. Again, my emotions were all over the place, but didn't know how to really act, because with my emotions from being down here, but to this, like, wow, this big, huge thing, and you're like, what do I do? I was able to breathe, I felt like, for the first time, and just find myself, my true self. I could question somebody without them belittling me. They'd educate me. They were, I guess, the mindset was the same, genuinely curious, open-minded. And there was people there like me, and I appreciated that. And most of my subscribers are my Job Corps friends that I've known 20 plus years. I didn't just go once, but I went twice and had amazing friendships, some bonds, just some incredible people. And I thank you guys for being part of my life. You just do not realize how much you guys mean to me. So there's that. Moving on. I will get through this. When I got out of Job Corps, though, those emotions came back from before I went. I wanted to know why. I wanted to know why I kept having these emotions, just they didn't fit. They just all over the place. So, before Google, when was it before Google? I'm not that old, but before Google got big, I guess, I went to college and was in psychology class, and I wanted to know, I thought I got more input on that, doing some research, and I thought maybe it was PTSD or borderline personality disorder. I haven't been officially diagnosed, but these kind of made sense about at that time. There's the abandonment and but then I took I'm sure you guys have heard of it, the Myers-Briggs personality test. Now that's cool. And I've taken this test like a million times just to see if that's who I am. It's a INFP, which is intuitive, introvert, feeling, and perceiving. Okay, getting down to the rest. Okay. But besides that, the INFP, what I read on the borderline, people, when you Google it, it looks like it's a horrible thing. There's a lot of stereotypes that are bad or evil. And, there's different kinds, there's different types. There's extreme, I call myself slightly, because since I'm older, I can recognize certain things. But since I'm older, it's one of these things that won't ever go away. Okay. It won't. But once you recognize that it's a part of you, you can start to accept it. You can learn to embrace it, flaws and all. You can learn to grow with it. Okay. You find the pros of this. There are pros of having these things. There are pros and positives. I can't talk. Positives of it instead of just negatives. It's like being an INFP, I guess. We're more empathetic. We're very caring. We want to spread joy. We see the beauty in things. We're very understanding, intuitive. Sometimes our intuition gets mistaken for our ego. Now that's something you should look up, because it's very confusing when you think your intuition is right, when in reality, well, it could be just your ego, which can be caused by past traumas, which kind of interferes, so you don't know, can't tell the difference between your ego and the intuition, which is interesting. Anyway, I do believe that one person can make a difference, and you try to see good in people. You don't want people to feel abandoned. You want them to feel validated, of course. We feel. I'm a total feeler. I like to feel it. I don't know how to explain that. But the whole believe that one person can make a difference. Yeah, I've been told I'm going to push over a doormat or a puppet. Some people take advantage of my kindness. Just kind of messed up. But, you know, again, anyway, I think you guys get the idea. INFP. Now we're going to go into that because I don't want to talk about the borderline. It's all scattered. Damn it. INFPs, we are very imaginative. We have very creative thoughts. We might not put it out there like being an artist or whatever. We think about it, and we have very creative minds. So we are very creative. Besides being a feeler, we just find beauty in everything, you know. We try to find the good in people, which is kind of messed up in a way. I think I said that. Oh. Right. Okay. And I cry at everything. I ain't joking. Like, random acts of kindness warms my heart. I would think it would be like everybody, but it pisses me off at like the same time because there's not enough of it, and it pisses me off. And I'll start to cry because it's like, but why can't we do that all the time? But even like the other day, when I say I cry at everything, not just because I'm sad or angry. I hate angry crying because I don't like to be angry. You know, I'll start to cry and it's like, yeah. Anyway, we were watching a nature channel. They were letting a bald eagle, they were releasing him back to the wild, and my eyes started watering, kind of like, you know, on SpongeBob, his eyes get huge and they start to water. That's what I do. When I see something like that, just something, my eyes will start to water. So I cry out everything. And it's not a bad thing. I'm embracing that. But I'm not claiming to be one big fucking ray of sunshine. No, I do have my limits. You know, being older, you know, you get a little wiser. And I think that's the beauty of getting older. And things have changed since I quit drinking, you know. Besides trying to get everything fit to do what I need to do for myself, it's still a struggle, still trying to be on my creative side, actually doing it instead of thinking about it. But I'm finally listening to my inner child. I've ignored her for a very long time. And I promised I would never give up on her, and that's what's keeping me going. It's for her. So, conclusion. This is so fucking nerve-wracking. It's weird. Okay, again, this is just my experience. I hope it helps someone see a different perspective on mental health. Everybody deals with it differently. I'm just sharing my stories and see if it may relate to some of you, and that you're not alone, okay? And then everybody says cliche on this. Yeah, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is. And besides my inner child, I stay resilient. But yeah, resilience has helped a lot. Out of all the crap I endured and felt and experienced growing up, being resilient pushes me to keep going besides my inner child. I mean, I have my days. I like to balance things out. You know, I feel sad. Yeah, you know, or like when I feel sad, an example, I absorb it. I really feel it, you know, and then I let it go. Easier said than done, yes. But when I mean it's like express it, let it go, like listen to music. Write, draw, sing, dance. Be creative, but just letting it out. Just let it go. And yes, the light at the end of the tunnel. Sorry, I switched it. Better days to come. There are better days to come. There is light at the end of the tunnel. And the proof that all I have is I'm still here. So, okay. I know there are people who really struggle with this. You know, some people, I know it's hard, and I do see you, I do hear you, and I do feel you, and you're not alone. If you can't get to where you need to be, or just need an extra oomph, and if this hasn't helped, you can call, text, or go online at 988. And if anybody out here watching this knows somebody who is struggling, please give them this, or just be there for them. Practice kindness. You don't know what somebody's going through. Pretty much don't be a dick. So don't judge too quickly. I know everybody judges, but just, how can I explain that one about judging too quickly? I judge people more on the character. Again, I have questions. It makes me wonder what people are thinking and what they're doing and why they do it. And if you're just a downright dick, then you're a dick. So anyway, I hope this made sense to everybody, and I hope this goes through, and I'm not apologizing for messing it up. I guess it's an INFP thing. Look that up. There's a lot of INFPs. We're cool, and I can guarantee most of you guys are my subscribers, because if you're like me, which most of you are, you guys are an INFP, and you guys are awesome. So anyways, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If you haven't seen my other videos, please do. Like and or comment. Maybe there's something that worked for you, and maybe it could help somebody else. So that'd be cool too. And when I do another video, I'm not sure, but this time, since I got all this crap out of the way, it's not crap, it's good stuff. But since I got it out of the way, now I can do what my title says of doing, random things, talking about random things. For instance, the next thing I might talk about is flowers, why I have a nightlight, why I like the color purple, just random shit. So I hope you guys like this, and wow, it's been over 20 minutes, so I hope you guys enjoy it. All right, I'll see you guys another time. Love you.